Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. If you had my love and I gave you all my trust, would you cheat on me? A-Rod, baby. And if I was Puerto Rican and you were a baseball player, would you take gummies while you're playing? Ooh, yeah. Love is life and life is living. Very special. All my love is all I had. Love is what you had, baby girl. That's what we have. You'll be missing me, but too bad. If you didn't know that licking, ladies and gentlemen, if you're only watching the video, I'm doing some serious lip licking. Just LL Cool J coming in. Bars. JLO. Bars. A-Rod. Gummy. Steroid. Bars. Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Never forget. Listen. Coming in hot, this news. I only give two shits because it's so ridiculous. JLO and A-Rod. So you strike three, you're out. I don't know what that means here, but they're on the outs. And that means I'm on the in. I'm just kidding. Listen. You couldn't get me to be in a relationship with Jennifer Lopez for any amount of money. In the name of that goldfish alien-looking motherfucker from Star Wars, it's a trap. You know who I'm talking about. You just pictured him. It's a trap. You just pictured him again. Welcome to the podcast, Monday. Coming in hot on a Monday. Talking about JLO and A-Rod divorcing on a Monday. Why? Because I can. Because I can and I will. And she's Puerto Rican. And we got the same last name, so I'm allowed to talk on it. All right, JLO? Don't come for me. Better come correct. All right? Listen. What was it? Who was it that said, players, they gonna play. Shot callers, they gonna call. We got to figure that out. Because that's another 3LW. You guys remember 3LW? Three Little Women? Players, they gonna play. Haters, they gonna hate. Them callers, they gonna call. Them ballers, they gonna ball. Listen, you guys are getting way too many free songs right now. I'm about to slap an album cover on this and sell it as a mixtape. Bars, back in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, at the end of the day, A-Rod cheated on his biggest passion of all time, baseball. Why the fuck, JLO, do you think he's not gonna cheat on you? Okay? Listen. But here's the thing. You start getting into weird territory when you have celebrity couples. Because, listen, the world is their oyster. The world is their oyster. That was a weird reverb, echo, delay, stroke. Oyster. Haters, they gonna hate. And cheaters, they gonna cheat. And A-Rod gonna A-Rod at the end of the day. Okay? And these celebrity couples are so weird. It's so weird because we're infatuated with them. I'd never actually seen, sorry, don't kill me. I never watched A-Rod play baseball. Don't really watch baseball. Played T-ball, Played T-ball when I was a little kid. 2 seasons. Went undefeated as the Yankees, okay? Once you kind of reach the top of the mountain in baseball, at a ripe old age of 7 years old, okay? Won the championship. And you're like, Evan, but no one keeps score in T-ball. It doesn't matter. I won the championship, okay? It's all up here in the head. That's all. That's where it matters. End of the day, you're competing with yourself. Other kids are focused on what orange slices we were going to eat after the game. I'm there to mentally break down my opponents, okay? They used to put me on the pitching mound. Yeah, I was a pitcher in T-ball. I know there's a punchline in there somewhere. But they had to tell me one game, Evan, stop running off the pitcher's mound to get all the balls. And I'm like, well, maybe if my teammates didn't have lead in their fucking shoes, I could kind of kick back here, coach. Okay, so get the fuck off my back if you want me to be back-to-back champions. All right, microphone's coming in a little hot. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. But I just never watched baseball. It wasn't really my thing, all right? But I had to go and watch this weekend a clip of A-Rod playing baseball. And I'll admit, the man was good. I see what JLO liked about him. The man is smooth as butter. But listen, everything, there's no free rides. There's no free rides in life. Everything has a cost. You want that Instagram influencer with big titties and the fake ass and the big old fake lips looking like one of them weird goldfish from a Dr. Seuss book? Listen, Google it. Listen. You're going to have some problems. You're going to either turn into an amateur photographer, you're going to drive yourself crazy with all the weird DMs she's going to get. It's just, and if you want that life, cool. If you want that life, cool. Good for you. But listen, there's always going to be a trade-off. No matter what, you're going to pay for it. And you're going to pay for it dating someone like JLO, a diva. Listen, Jenny from the block, you don't think there's a diva in there? The woman is Puerto Rican. Listen, I'm half Puerto Rican. The monster is in me too. I'm like a werewolf where it only comes out when there's a full moon of sofrito. You know what I'm saying? Pasteles, tostones, it brings it out of me. But listen, I'm only half. I'm like Blade, I'm a daywalker. That's a full Puerto Rican woman right there. Not only that, that's a Puerto Rican woman who wears hoop earrings. And not only that, that is a Puerto Rican woman who wears hoop earrings from the Bronx. Okay, that is the Latina attitude starter pack right there. All right? Okay, she wears bandanas and shit and she can dance. There's trouble written all over it. All red flags. You look in a dictionary next to red flags, there's her with LL Cool J next to her licking his lips. Bars. Listen. This was bound to happen. And I like to unpack this stuff because it's like, we have data on how these things end all the time. Look at Mark Anthony. My man looks like he's been struggling with chemotherapy since they broke up. Okay? Listen. He never made a full recovery. And then who else was it? Ben Affleck, his career was never the same. He just looks stressed out. Every time you look at a picture of Ben Affleck on, some tabloid or something, he looks fucking tired. And people are like, why are you all tired? Your life is great. And he's like, JLO. I'm a recovering JLO X, It just is what it is. And there was all these things about JLO back in the day, about the way she was and everything, and how, there's always that dumb joke about Lord of the Rings. I'm like, what does Frodo, JLO, and Smeagol all have in common? None of them can hold on to the ring. Bars. Listen, I love Lord of the Rings. Bars. Listen. Get real close to your headphones right now. JLo's hot as fuck. JLo's got that booty. JLo is an entrepreneur, okay? She is, as an entertainer, performer, I respect her 100%. She is JLo, all right? But there's going to be a cost to all that, especially if you're the dude right backstage holding her purse, all right? Because it is what it is. That woman is a goddamn galactic planet, okay? She's got her own solar system spinning around her. That booty alone, stop, Evan. Don't go there. I think it's still International Women's Month, all right? But listen, it's just you're never going to have a normal relationship with a woman like that. Why? Solar system, all right? So you root for people. At the end of the day, I root for people. You root for someone like JLo to be happy, someone like A-Rod. He's got some blemishes on his career, but you just hope people are happy. And you're like, well, here's JLo, this super duper successful woman, and A-Rod, who on papers is very decorated man, successful, decorated man. I don't know why decorated man sounds weird. Probably the patriarchy. But it's just, man, it's a rough go, because I like to look at stuff like this, like the dynamics of relationships, and like what relationships will work and what relationships just won't work. I don't think two personalities like JLo and A-Rod are going to work. I don't think celebrity couples will work. Like when you're both in the same field, there's very few comics who can pull it off. When comics start dating each other, actors, I think it gets weird because you guys are both in the business and all of that stuff. It's just you kind of need like the opposite. And I think, man, JLo needs to marry like a mailman or something. Someone who's just, chill, got his 9 to 5, and he's just down to, fucking JLO, you know? Life is good. Life is grand. I don't have these other temptations. And JLO can't be getting no side piece with their dancers, okay? Because there's been rumors and speculation about that. And that's just, it is what it is. That Puerto Rican blood runs hot, okay? It runs hot. But here's where the issue was. You never know what's going on with these relationships. But and your boy hasn't done very much research. But listen, this is what I did hear through the grapevine. All right. I have a team of people that will feed me information for the podcast of little tidbits I should throw out. Thank you. You guys know who you are. The issue with this breakup, allegedly, A-Rod can't keep his dick in his pants. A-Rod, listen, you need to stop sending these girls turkey pictures of your dick. You know what I'm saying? Call back to the last episode if you ain't gone and seen it. Go back, gobble, gobble. A-Rod is drawing pictures of his dick like a finger turkey and sending it off the mortuary, okay? It is what it is. But the reality of the situation is, A-Rod, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it sucks. Whenever you see someone have that, you know, successful of a woman and everything, it's just like, is it the man that's broken? Or you just feel bad for relationships when you find out someone's cheating on the other person. And the way that like A-Rod was doing it is this man was having FaceTime sex. And which is weird, right? Because that's like, there's some girl named Madison. I don't know who the fuck Madison is, but okay. He was having like FaceTime sex with this girl. And I don't know if JLo walked through the back or something like that. And she was like, mira, ¿quién es? Oye, puto. You know? And she just like flipped off and like went all, like she put her hoop earrings back on and just flipped the fuck out, rightfully so. A-Rod, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You know what I hate, though, is when you start seeing people be like, JLo, you don't need to put up with that. And if you were with me, I would treat you like the queen that you are. There's so many of those dudes that come out of the fucking woodworks. They just show up out of nowhere. Fucking Sir Knight, White Knight. Sir, I'm going to try to catch any scraps I can because I'm a fucking bottom feeder. But what are you doing? Like, how does A-Rod even know how to have FaceTime sex? How old are you, bro? Okay? You won't ever, and you just know better. You just know better. You think there's any way I'm going to get caught up? Watch, this is going to be me. This is going to be me laying the groundwork, the foreshadowing of what I get caught up in because I don't realize cameras are on. There's no way I'm ever going to be doing something through FaceTime, through anything like that, because you're like, oh yeah, the government's watching this. There goes my political career, right? You don't think they're going to bank that, A-Rod? I know if I was working at FaceTime, whatever FaceTime, Apple, and I'm looking at also I see A-Rod, and I'm just watching, I'm like, oh shit, that's A-Rod. And I'm just watching the security thing, you know, spying on people. And then I'm just like, oh, A-Rod, what are you doing? That's not JLo. A-Rod, stop unbuttoning. A-Rod, stop. No. Okay, A-Rod, I see you. But then it's just like, okay, I'm for sure going to send him a screenshot and be like, hey, bro, 10 million in my account by nightfall. You know? You got to be smarter than that, A-Rod. And I'm not saying I would do that because it just is none of my business. But I'm saying that can happen. You just didn't think of that? You just didn't think that was going to happen? And you know what else is crazy? This man has women sign an NDA when he's cheating on his wife or her fiance, whatever they are, boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know. But I'll be honest with you. When I found out about that there's men who get NDAs while they're cheating, the first thing that came to my mind was, all right, that's a pretty baller move. Let's be honest. That's a pretty baller move to be able to pull that off. Be like, yeah, bitch, you can't try to ruin my family because I'll sue your ass. Okay? That's a wild thing that is even possible. It's also a wild thing that it's so easy. And maybe it is because he's so aware of NDAs and having these things that he would have FaceTime sex. I don't know why I keep calling it FaceTime sex. That's just what I think the article I saw about it. I think that's what they called it. And so I'm just going with it. I don't even know what it means. But he basically was just a webcam girl for someone else. A weird flex, A-Rod. A weird flex. You're basically doing it for a robot. If you really break down what you're doing in your phone, you're like, look at this phone. It's the weirdest thing ever, bro. But it's so weird when you start getting into celebrity stuff because the amount of weird DMs they must get, death threats, all of this stuff, people trying to entrap them. Like you gotta stay away from it. Brian Stan, this UFC fighter, and I don't know if I've said this before, take a drink for every time Evan says, I don't know if I've said this before. Or also the other one is as I get older. That's another drinking game. Anyway, bars, back to this shit. I totally just lost my train of thought, ladies and gentlemen, on a Monday. Losing my mind on a Monday. It's so weird, this celebrity stuff. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find what I was talking about. NDAs. Someone right now is yelling, and you're like, maybe you shouldn't have been such a dumbass. Brian Stan. We back, baby. Brian Stan, this MMA fighter. He's like a general in the military, phenomenal person, human being. And he would say, pussy is undefeated, okay? Pussy is undefeated in life. And you can even say dick is undefeated for you ladies. I know it's International Women's Month or whatever it is. Pussy and penis, that sounds weird, are undefeated. And what that means is the longer you expose yourself to these tempting situations, it's going to win eventually. You may put up a good fight, but if you're around too much, you put a steak on the floor and your dog is going to listen to you for a while. But a few days pass and that dog hasn't eaten it. The dog's like, it's either you or the steak. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's some worlds you just can't get into. And obviously, like, what is making A-Rod do this? Okay? What makes this happen? Is it an internal thing, you think? Where it's just like, is it the glitz and glamour of like you've been worshipped your whole life and then now in retirement you just need a little razzle dazzle? You've been used to the panties, the bras, everything being thrown at you. You need a little razzle dazzle, so you're like, let me just get a little FaceTime sex, not real sex, you know? And then it's like, where did we draw the line? Because, I mean, that's technically not having sex, but it is something. But then it's like, what is porn? Because, I mean, that is, if you're looking at the phone, the only difference with the phone is that when you're watching porn, the person's not looking back at you, all right? The person can't see you. So it's almost just like a 50-50 porn, right? More interactive. It's like 3D. Because then where do you get when you start doing like this? And I've never done it, but there's like 3D porn where you put on your VR goggles and the girl's like in the room with you and you're just like, whoa. And she's like on you and shit. I've only heard about it, all right? Listen, because I just know that's a dark path to go down. I know that's a dark path to go down. But then it's like, where do we start getting to the gray lines? Okay? It just all starts getting gray at the end of the day is what I'm saying. By the way, by the bay. I just may eat some hay and stay gay all day in May. Bars. But let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on. We've done enough dragging JLO and A-Rod. It's just so silly because it becomes such a big deal. Like what we put focus on. And it's fun to poke fun at it. But it's like, it's just so silly at the end of the day. There was last night, speaking of silly, the Grammys. It's so weird. You watch like the Grammys. I only saw clips of it when there's no audience and they try to do it and you hear everything. And then you have people trying to cancel Bill Burr. He was like hosting the Grammys and Twitter went on a tirade about him, this cis white male, calling him a racist and everything. And why would they have this cis white male announcing the Latin Grammys? Like them, like what? Because you're not that skin color now, you shouldn't be able to announce the Grammys for a Latin person? That, like, what is the difference between that and then being like, why is this black person allowed to announce the country award for best album? You know, like when you flip it and you look at the objectivity of it, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of weird to even say that. But it's like, for some reason, this whole woke progressiveness, it's gotten insane to the point where it's just like, it's ruining a lot of these art forms, and especially like these moments for these awards. I remember when back when I was younger, like it felt like award shows were actually like a display of, not artistry, I hate that fucking word, but like it was actually about the music, and it was about giving these artists this award and everything. But it's like now you see it and it is just a pander, and it is just virtue signaling, and it is just making sure that everything is so inclusive in a safe space, and like not even about the music at all. It's all about these faces and about making sure people know they're super progressive and woke. And it's just gotten ridiculous to the point where it's not even about the music or the artist. It's become like reverse racism, where it's like, no, now we just need you here because you're this skin color, you know, rather than like, we don't want you here because of your skin color. We want you here because of your skin color. Bars. It's like a weird thing, right? And it's just not normal. It's not natural. It's not healthy to have this look. Like I feel like with music especially, I understand, listen, I'm all about inclusion and opportunity and equality of opportunity. I'm all for that. But when you don't see the weirdness of having different, like the weirdness of exclusion, it's like exclusion by inclusion of just like attacking this one thing. And it's so odd. I don't even want to get into it, but it's just so weird that they would try to cancel Bill Burr, like this comedian who makes like not even bad jokes. He made some funny things. I forgot what he said because it was weird. There was a piano guy playing, and he said, "Am I the only one who wanted to kill myself after that? Jesus." And then it was like, I literally laughed out loud. But he got canceled on Twitter. They tried to go after him because he's a cis white male and was insensitive. Oh, man. Do you want to know what's really going to happen? This is my prediction. China's going to invade. We're going to get fucked up by China. Why? Because people have gotten so focused on all of this shit that we're just going to tear ourselves up from within. And China's going to be like, hey, you guys got to learn Chinese now. And I'm just going to nod. Okay, well, this is what it is. We had a good run, America. Y'all got chicken wings? That's how I feel. Because I feel like no one even acknowledges like real international threats from China and all the shit that's really going on. A lot of people don't even know about it. Like what China wants to do to the American economy and everything. And it's pretty scary stuff. But we're just so wrapped up in our own shit and making sure we have all these safe spaces. Meanwhile, China's just going to come and give us a crazy wake-up call. It might not even be China. Listen, Russia's in the running too. But like, it's just crazy that we've gotten so fucking far from reality of what matters, of what actually is insensitive. And it's like that thing where if you keep saying everything's insensitive, then you're going to completely invalidate the things that really are insensitive. And like the things that actually do matter. If you just keep muddying the water with all this bullshit, none of it is going to matter, and it's going to be for no reason because all the real shit gets lost in the mix, you know? It's pretty insane. Dude, daylight savings has me fucked up. Has me going at everybody right now. You know what's so weird? Why do we do daylight savings? Like I actually found out the real reason. I always thought it was because of farming for some reason. Do you know that it started in World War I? Daylight savings was a way to conserve energy during the war. And then for some reason, after the war was over, we just adopted it. And it makes no goddamn sense. All it is, it just confuses you twice a year for like a whole week. And you just walk around in a daze because you're like, no, everything's different now. You know, like, why are we still doing it? It's got me fucked up. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about daylight savings, you know. It's real important to talk about daylight savings on a Monday. I'm currently in the podcast studio. Listen, in a few weeks, this thing is going to look completely different. I don't know what it's going to look like, but in a few weeks, I'm going to be in Texas. And by a few weeks, 2 weeks. I'm pretty much on the last 2 weeks of being in California. And it's a crazy feeling. It's kind of, you know, a little bit of stress, but that's normal when you're doing something like moving across the state or across the country, halfway, whatever, relocating completely. It's good. I'm excited. The podcast is going to be different, at least while going to be in an apartment for a while, and then moving into the house, hopefully in November. Just giving you guys my life plan. And then I'm going to build, hopefully, a permanent studio that is different, and we're just going to keep it moving, pimping. At the end of the day, that's what we do, no matter what the circumstances. We're going to keep it moving, pimping. Okay. I'm very excited to start doing stand-up. I'm actually going to be doing a show this Friday. It's like a live show. I'm going to be opening up for a band. I'm going to try to find a stream for it. Maybe I can put it up. But it's going to be my first time doing any kind of stand-up. And I'm excited. I feel like I need some kind of warm-up before I do it. But I don't know if that's going to be possible. But there's nothing like it. There's nothing like live performance. There's nothing like competing and live performance where you really just put it all on the line. You just really put it all on the line, you know? God, we're getting corny. But I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to live performing. I want to talk about this before we get out of here. There was a he was high school. An announcer who called high school basketball team racial slur blames his diabetes. This was an Oklahoma sports announcer. I do not believe I would have made such horrible statements absent my sugar spiking. My man is blaming not having a Snickers and being hangry. The reason why he called a high school basketball team the N-word. Holy fuck. In a lengthy response, Rowan said that he believed his microphone was off when he called Norman high school players the racial slur. Listen, bro. Don't ever use the excuse that your microphone was off. Oh, I didn't know anybody could hear me doing that. That's not the problem. The problem is you said it and that you felt that way. During the Norman High School girls basketball game against Midwest City, I made inappropriate and racist comments believing that the microphone was off. However, let me state immediately, is no such excuse. No excuse. Such comments should have never been uttered, he said in a statement. I have not only embarrassed and disappointed myself, I have embarrassed and disappointed my family and friends. In an attempt to offer an explanation, Rowan said his diabetes will sometimes cause him to say hurtful comments. Bro, I will state that I suffer type 1 diabetes, and during the game, my sugar was spiking. While not excusing my remarks, it is not unusual when my sugar spikes that I become disoriented and often say things that are not appropriate as well as hurtful. I do not believe that I would have made these horrible statements absent my sugar spiking. Listen, I'll be honest with you. This guy may have diabetes, but he's got balls the size of basketballs to be able to have a straight face and to blame being racist on not having a Snickers. Okay? Listen. That is the craziest excuse I've ever heard for someone being racist. And I I've never seen on any, your boy went to nursing school. I've never seen on one symptom of diabetes chance of racial slurs. Now, maybe if he had Tourette's, you get into some weird territory where you say certain things that are inappropriate. But I ain't never heard that about diabetes. How far from God have we strayed to where in 2021 we're using excuses like that? I'm not racist. I'm hungry. That should be his slogan. That's a great skit idea. I'm not racist. I'm hungry. Hey, remember those? You're not yourself when you're angry or hangry. And then it's like the Snickers commercials. It should be someone in a KKK outfit. And then they're like, hey, have a Snickers. And then he turns back to a normal sports announcer. And he's like, thanks. I was getting pretty close there. Insane. Dude, hangry isn't real, though. Being hangry, that shit is so real. I get violently hangry. Never racially hangry, but violently. There is some truth to being in a different headspace when you're hungry. When you're real hangry, shit could pop off. Sometimes you just gotta eat. Listen, that's my secret with my relationship. Sometimes you either get moody or your girl gets moody. Sometimes you just gotta be like, all right, well, I'm gonna eat some food. Or you're like, well, she's about to eat. We'll talk about this again in 30 minutes. Different human being. It's a different human being. That's my pro tip to guys. I know it's cliche, but if your girl, if you guys are getting in an argument and then she can't get out of that sunken place, try feeding her, bro. Try feeding her, running away, come back in 30 minutes. And that's my Monday tip for you guys. Feed your girls, okay? Especially during International Women's Month, whatever this is. And remember, no matter what, don't be racist when you're hungry. And I love you. And JLO, I apologize. You have my number still. I love you.